A lizard crawled under the skirt of the dead bride. The man keeping vigil tried to grab it, but the moment his hand brushed against the body, the groom's coffin beside her suddenly shifted. Jack thought it was the groom warning him, so he quickly shut the coffin lid. But when he returned to his room, he realized he had become obsessed with the dead bride's beauty. He opened a drawer nearby and found a camera. Inside were dozens of photos of the bride. Jack stared at them until he was practically drooling. But then, to his shock, some of the pictures showed the bride being abused by the groom. He began to suspect she had been beaten to death by her husband. But then, how did the groom die? Just as he was wondering, a loud thud echoed from the next room. Jack jumped up to investigate, and on the door's lock he found a piece of rope. Carefully following it down the hall, he arrived at the chapel. The rope's other end was tied to the dead bride. The next second, the groom suddenly appeared and dragged her away. Fortunately, it was all just a dream. Jack was, in fact, a professional watchman hired to guard the dead. A young newlywed couple had died in a tragic accident, and their family had asked him to keep vigil for 3 days. But the dream convinced him that the bride's soul was still being tormented by her husband. So Jack did the unthinkable, he lifted her body out of the coffin. From then on, he often spoke to the corpse, played music for her, and even sat her in the sunlight. One day, a banging sound jolted Jack awake. When he reached the chapel, the groom's coffin was open, his body was gone. A hand suddenly reached toward him, and Jack fled back to his room. To his horror, the bride's body had vanished as well. What came next shocked him even more. Jack suddenly witnessed scenes from the couple's life. It turned out the bride had a dangerous tendency toward self-harm. The groom tied her up not to abuse her, but to protect her. One day, the bride begged him to untie her. Kind-hearted as he was, he loosened the ropes. But as soon as she was free, she shoved him away, smashed the music box on the table, and grabbed a shard of glass before running out. The groom tried to stop her, but in the struggle she slashed his throat. Seeing her husband die by her own hand, the bride, consumed with guilt, ended her life as well. Realizing the truth, Jack tried to escape the place, but before he could, the bride's spirit grabbed him by the neck. When Jack finally came to, he found himself locked inside a coffin.